Welcome to Duke Trap Studios, home of the Keystone Experience, brought to you by Creek Archery. Find your passion, then hunt it down. Hillview Motors, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Remember, Hillview has it. What's going on, everybody? Hey, we got a special guest with us tonight, Mr. Jordon. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to screw it up.
That's all right.
Shume?
Yep, Shume, you got it.
Okay, there we go. Jordon Shume.
A lot of people mess it up. It's a weird last name.
But me and Jordon have a mutual friend. That's how we got introduced to each other. Jordon had bought some turkey decoys off of me a couple of years back. And I guess you had some success with them this spring.
Yeah, I shot a pretty good gobbler up on my house, so that was pretty cool. So thank you.
And Jordon is friends with Jared, which I work with Jared, and I'm friends with him, and that's how we met each other. And they hunt together, and both on a lease in Ohio.
Yep,
shoot some pretty nice bucks up there in Ohio, and me and Jordon have a thing for venomous snakes. So we're gonna go back and see how Jordon got started into the outdoors first before we jump into the venomous snake part of it. So you want to tell everybody how you got started in the outdoors?
Yeah. So my mother was a single mother, and there was two guys that went to our church, Dave Lynch and John Wisniewski, and John would take me fishing, and Dave took me kind of fishing and hunting, but I'd go camping with those guys all the time. We'd hunt and fish, and then my love for the outdoors just kind of started there, and then it was rattlesnakes, copperheads. My buddy Aaron got me into seeing my first copperhead, my first rattlesnake. I think I was like 15 or 16 when I got to catch my first one, and then even like shooting bigger deer, like meeting Jared, because he actually ended up moving in next to me, and I was able to pick up a lot of tips off of him. And I've been surrounded by a lot of good people, so it's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, me and you got to go out Sunday for the first time. The first time I've been out in 15 years. So Jordon kind of, talking to him and seeing the pictures he's been posting on Facebook, he kind of got me wanting to go back out. So I went and got all my gear. In Pennsylvania, you have to have a fishing license and you have to buy a venomous snake tag.
Yep.
You're allowed, if I'm not mistaken, it's a male timber rattler.
Yep.
Has to be
42 or 43 inches and has to have 22 or more subcaudal scales.
Okay. And you're allowed to keep one timber rattler, but it has to be the male.
Yep.
And then you're allowed to keep a copperhead also, right?
Yep. You're allowed one northern copperhead, and it can be male or female.
Okay.
So.
And some of the snakes you've been putting up are pretty good looking snakes, and you caught a really unique one.
Yeah.
That she's really pretty.
Yeah, I was like pretty shocked whenever I took a couple friends out, and we were kind of on our way out, and I was like, oh, let's just like walk up here and see if there's anything kind of like laying out. The spot's not really good until like noon, 1 o'clock, but we had to get back in early, and was walking along the rock face, and I saw half of her body sticking out. I was like, oh my! I was literally like, oh my god! I'm like, nobody move! I'm like, this snake's like, I was freaking out, man. It was like, growing up as like a kid, you watch like Steve Irwin and all them, and you're like, I want to like catch or find something that nobody's like caught or seen before. And I was like, this snake's like pretty special. I mean, I my buddy Phil told me they're one in like 3,000. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
And
and
I don't know if that number is like out of like if they have 10 or 12 young that say X amount of snakes have babies. I don't know if that's statistically like the one that makes it out of the 12 that can be like that, or just in general that you know.
so and that was a female that
Yep.
you found, and she was
She was gravid.
yeah.
Yep. I don't recommend catching females, by the way. Um, I really don't even recommend grabbing a snake with tongs. If you need tongs, you probably should not catch the snake. That's just my opinion.
Right,
Um, because
right.
their spinal columns are very fragile. Um, I've used them a little bit here and there. I don't use them as much. I just happen to have them because I bought them for my ex girlfriend. I asked her if I could borrow them, and she lent them to me. And I was fortunate I had them because I would not have caught that snake. But I don't really condone on grabbing female snakes or even really using tongs in general,
Well, see,
unless you're experienced.
there's a thing that people don't understand. Like, I've done this for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I got out of it because the guy I was hunting with passed away,
Yep.
and you're going out looking for a venomous snake, so you
Yep.
got to pretty much trust the guys that you're going with, and
Yep.
it took me a long time to finally figure, hey, I'm watching Jordan, he knows what he's doing, you
Yeah.
know he I'll go out with him. There's a handful of guys that I would snake hunt with, and you're one of them, and there's a couple other guys that are local around here that I'll hunt
Mm-hmm.
with. But back when I was doing it all the time,
Yeah.
we had tongs with us,
Yep.
and it was very seldom did we use the tongs
Yeah.
because
Yep.
you grab a snake too close to his head, they start whipping around, they can snap their neck. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you grab them too far back, you can break their tails.
Yep.
And if you do it long enough, you can look at a snake that's laying there and basically tell, okay, that's a female.
Yep.
You don't need to pick it up.
Yeah. Yep.
Just by the way the body shaped, it comes to an abrupt point towards the tail.
Yeah, it's real fat,
It
then it
narrows
tapers
down.
out real skinny.
Yeah, you can tell that's a female. And most of the time, your big males aren't going to be laying there in groups of 5 or 6 snakes.
Yeah, a lot of the
Your
times
big
they're
males are off
females.
roaming around. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially
so
right now.
and early morning is normally early morning to the afternoon. I
Yeah.
would say would be probably be your best times. I mean, I don't know what you think, how you feel about it.
I think certain spots have. I think it's kind of like deer in a sense. I think that certain spots produce at different times of the day. You might get a spot that doesn't. Like I said, the spot that I was at, it's like it's not really worth a piss till about 11:30, 12 o'clock. But like I always go early, and then a lot of the times I'll find the snakes like kind of on the way out, or you'll pick 2 or 3 up, and then as the afternoon goes on, and the sun beats down harder, you'll pick more snakes up.
And another thing that people got to understand is these snakes are not vicious. They don't come after you like
No,
people think they do.
nope.
These snakes want to get away from you. They know that they can't eat you. They'll give you a little rattle telling you, "Hey, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm letting you know I'm here." Now it's it's in your hands what you're going to do now.
Yep.
And if you keep tormenting them and pestering them, you know, yeah, you're going to mess around. You're going to get not bit, but struck at.
Yep.
And, like I said, these snakes don't want to, they're not going to chase you down. Everybody thinks they're going to chase you down, or, if you get between where a rattlesnake wants to go and where he
Mm-hmm.
is, of course he's going to look like he's striking at you because he's trying to get underneath a certain rock.
Yeah.
You know, he lives there. He knows where he wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, people have to realize that when you're out, if you hear that rattle, take a look around, take a picture, leave them alone. Don't grab a stick and start messing with them. You know, just
That's how
leave the snake alone.
that's how a lot of people get bit too. Is just, they'll be out hiking and they see a snake and they want to look cool in front of their friends. A
Yeah.
lot of the times they don't even know what it is. They're like, oh, I'm gonna pick it up, and then they end up in the hospital, and it's not worth dying over.
Or the people who drive down the roads and run them over on purpose. That really
Yeah.
aggravates me.
Yeah.
You know, don't hurt them snakes. I mean, I don't know. I can't say it enough that, they're not mean. It took me a long time. I hated snakes.
Yeah.
And then my buddy that got me into it taught me a completely different aspect, a different view of them snakes. I got to see what they were like. Climb up on a rock first time in the first time of the year, and you got 15, 20 snakes that just came out of a den. They're trying to get warm. They're all buzzing and they're carrying on. Not a single one of them is worried about you being there. They already let you know that they're there.
Oh, yeah.
Now you start messing with them. Yeah, you're going to torment them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing what natural instinct is.
Yep.
It's either to get away or bite.
Yep.
And 99% of the time, they just want to get away.
They're more afraid of you than you are of them.
Yep.
You tell somebody that, and they're like,
I'm more afraid of running into an unhappy human out in the woods than I am running into a rattlesnake.
oh, yeah, me too, man. That's why I carry out in the woods. I'm not really afraid of the Pennsylvania wildlife. It's, who you're going to see out there that you don't want to see.
But yeah, we went out Sunday, didn't find anything, had a good time. I think it was a little early. It was a little cool yet.
It was windy too. That didn't always help.
Yeah. So, and then today I'm at work all day long looking outside. I'm like, man, why did I come to work? I should have.
Oh, yeah.
I should have called Jordan. We should have blew off and we should have went out snake hunting. Always seemed like before a storm is when I used to have good luck, or right directly after a storm.
Yeah.
That's usually when I caught my biggest snake and found the most snakes.
Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of success with finding copperheads like that, laying out on the roads after a storm. I'll hit some of my spots up, and they'll come out and try to pick some amphibians up off the road. Get that heat.
Copperheads don't have the same demeanor as a rattlesnake.
No, they're two totally opposite snakes. I've ran into some that. Okay.
Good.
I was just saying, I've ran into some that they're very awesome to work with, and this is out on the road. I like the road cruise and find them on the road, and so you have to figure driving a Chevy pickup truck down the road and all that vibration. You get out of the truck and they're not real thrilled to see you. But I've had some that are like really awesome to work with, and there's some that you couldn't pay me to touch, and because they don't rattle. They don't have any sort of defense other than their bite. They will take their tail and they'll twitch it off the leaves to make it sound like a rattle, to scare off predators. But
I've seen. I haven't caught a whole lot of copperheads. Really haven't looked for those. Because most of the time I was doing the Cinnamahoney snake hunt or the snake hunts we had in Lober. So I really never spent a whole lot of time looking for copperheads, so I'm not real keen on where to find them. And, I mean, you're going to find out through this podcast that snake hunters are just like mushroom hunters. I'm not going to tell my mother where I find rattlesnakes. You know what I mean? There's a few people like you.
Yep.
I'll share spots with you. We went to one of your spots. That's, that's the way this works. But I'm not just going to tell the average Joe that's just getting into this, hey, come on, I'm going to take you to a hot spot. That's not going to happen. You're going to have to earn that from friends before they
Yeah.
start taking you to places like that.
Yeah.
You know, I hunted up in the big woods, up in Cinnamahoney, up in Potter County with a bunch of good guys. You know,
Mm-hmm.
found a lot of snakes up there,
Yep.
and I haven't been back since the guy I went with passed away.
Yep.
It's just I don't know, I guess a respect thing. I guess it is.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, among snake hunters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but
Yeah. You just like you don't know like what people's intentions are and if they're gonna go up there and kill them. Or
yeah,
unfortunately, the black market's a really big thing around here too, more than you might really know just from kind of talking with the fish wardens and stuff. And I mean,
right,
box turtles get smoked every year. I mean, it's a shame because we only got one natural resource, and once it's gone, it's
yeah,
gone. You ain't getting it back. I love killing stuff like deer and fox and coyote just as much as the next person, but I also like saving it and you know.
that's why I said a true sportsman. We were talking about this on Sunday. A true sportsman, we're conservationists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, I'd love to fill a buck tag every year.
Yep.
You know, but I don't
Yep.
because I get it in my head I'm hunting one specific buck, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just the way I am. That's the way I hunt. I'll shoot 10 does,
Yep.
but I'm also managing my property.
Yeah. You have to do that too.
You know, and I'll go out and I'll shoot 35, 40 coyotes a year.
Yep.
You know, I'll shoot so many foxes a year. I'll trap every raccoon I can find,
Yep.
you know, because you're never going to wipe them animals out.
No.
You know, the predators, you're never going to wipe them out.
No.
Uh, I'm not real big on, you know, I did the contest before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is what it is. Everybody does it. I'm
Yeah.
not real big on it because whenever you start putting money into things is when you get people to cheat. And I
Yep.
just don't like, you know, that deal. Uh, the same with the rattlesnake hunts and stuff like that. Eventually,
Yep.
people are going to cheat. You
Yep.
know, you give
That.
somebody a trophy, that's okay. But when you start getting into money,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it brings the worst out of people. You know,
Yep. That too, and they're stressing the animals out as well. Like even if they're not gonna even if they're not gonna keep them, it's generally like if I'm out in the woods, I it's got to be like now it's like I might pick one up a year. It's got to be like a really big rattlesnake just in the woods for me to even want to touch it.
right,
On the road, they're free game because they're you know I'm moving them, so I'll take a picture with them or whatever. But
right,
you know, and then they shove them all in those cages and write on them and stuff, and then you know you see people stepping on them with boots to tube them and stuff, and it's just like,
yeah,
I'm not really a big fan of it either. I think they could go maybe about it even a different way, you
yeah.
know.
Like I told you before, you know, back when I was younger and doing this, I
Mm-hmm.
kept one,
Yeah.
you know, and you're allowed in PA, you're either allowed to kill it or you're allowed to keep it live
Mm-hmm.
as long as you have your permit.
Yep.
And I kept mine for, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 weeks maybe. And sitting there one day looking at that thing in that fish tank, thinking, you know, if I was stuck behind bars,
Mm-hmm.
I would be the most miserable person ever in the
Oh
world.
yeah.
That snake doesn't want to be in that aquarium with a little bit of dirt and some fake trees and shit. He wants to be out where he's, you know.
Where
So
God put them.
I sacked him back up and took the 3.5 hour drive and took him back and walked back in another 2 hours and put him back right where I found him at.
Yep.
But how many guys are out there doing these contests, bringing these things in, getting them checked, putting a fingernail polish mark on them, and
Mm-hmm.
driving down the road and opening the sack and just dumping them out alongside the road?
Yeah, I think it happens more than what you think. You know.
Yeah, you know, we don't have timber rattlers around here in Greensburg.
No.
You know, and you're hearing stuff of people seeing them on the bike trail down in West Newton. I mean,
Yeah.
where'd that snake come from? It didn't
Yep.
travel all
Yeah.
that way.
Yep.
I can't see them getting in the York River and swimming.
No. No. They
You
are
know,
known to cross rivers. Those in easterns. I've seen videos of easterns actually floating out in the ocean.
huh?
I don't know why they do it, but they do it, and there's documented videos of it. There's actually I saw on one of the rattlesnake pages the timber floating across one of the rivers around here. But I especially during mating season, I think they get I don't want to say kind of like a deer, but I just think they end up in places that they shouldn't end up, you know.
Right.
So it's just kind of
Yeah.
like
There's a video out there that I was watching. We were talking about it before we started. Those guys were talking about, the myth that people say you don't go near the river when it gets hot out because the rattlesnakes are down there. Well,
yeah.
the rattlesnakes are going to get a drink
Hmm.
and maybe crossing the river to get up onto the other side. That's usually going to be your males
Hmm.
because the females ain't going very far from,
They're yeah,
well,
especially if they're gestating. They're I mean they're there pretty much all summer until mid-August till they pop, and then August maybe early September, and then the young will sit there with them for a week or two, and then they disperse back to the dens there. So then you start getting those cool nights.
and the other thing we got to do at the end of the season, because our season is what? June till the end of July.
Yep, yeah, something like that.
Middle of June till the end of July.
Yeah,
It's not a very long season.
no,
Uh, we have to fill out a report card.
yep,
And that report card entails of us telling them how many snakes we seen,
yep.
if they were male or females,
The
which
dates.
the dates that you seen them, and
Hmm.
I don't believe there's locations. Is there?
They
I
will,
can't
they
remember.
will, they will ask for GPS coordinates. Um, and I do give them that because um, it's scientific data. So
Yeah.
whenever I'm filling snake, that's because they have people that monitor timber rattlesnakes, and there's Fish Commission probably knows every site in Pennsylvania.
Right.
So if you're
Right.
giving them coordinates and stuff, and then we just say like a logging company is going to go somewhere and log, they're going to go, oh, there's a den there, a gestation site, and they'll pay somebody there to move the snakes, or like my buddy Phil will go and count neonates and stuff like that and see how many snakes are at each site, which is awesome. I think a lot of us, including myself, way back in the day, I didn't give the state enough credit. Um, Big shout out to the Fish Commission, especially our Southwest Regional Office guy, because they really care about the snakes. Um, it's really nice to see. They're really cracking down on, because we get people destroying sites all the time, breaking rocks, and those snakes won't ever go. So if you have a rock where they just stayed at, and you're even if you're grabbing the females, if you go consistently and you're grabbing females all the time, those snakes are gonna go, I ain't coming back here. They don't want bottom.
Right.
They're
Right.
there to thermoregulate in the rocks. They can get in and out of the sun and have a steady body temperature whenever they get too hot. And it's just, it's nice to see. So big shout out to the Fish Commission for dealing with what they deal with,
Right.
too, you've ran into officers around here. They deal with a lot more than what they should.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
don't really respect it. So
Yep. And I say this all the time. Fish wardens and game wardens, they don't make the laws. They got to
yep,
enforce them. It's
yep,
our legislators that make the laws. So if you're going to be mad at somebody, be mad at the legislators. Don't be mad
yep,
at the wardens, you
yep.
know? just like the police. The police don't make the laws.
Hmm.
The police just got to enforce them. So you can't
Yep.
be mad at them. You know,
It's
but
just
you
like
can.
just like paying for your registration and your license and stuff like that. All that goes towards fixing roadways and stuff. But
Right.
like,
Right.
when you're buying there's, and I was like this when I was a kid. I was like, I'm not keeping rattlesnakes, so I don't really want. I'm not buying a snake tag. But like that helps out in conservation, and there's way more than what you see that goes on to what they're doing. I mean, they're running trail cameras at these sites trying to catch poachers, and you know,
Yeah. I had a little sticker shock this year when I went and bought my snake permit
yeah,
because the last time I bought it, it was $15. So that tells you how long ago it was when I bought it. But yeah, I mean, I went with you. All I took with me was a hook.
yep,
You know, I don't have pinners.
yep,
I I don't, like I told you. You know, I did that whole grabbing them and everything else, and playing a sacking game with the Western Diamondbacks and all that. And
hmm,
knock on wood, never got bit. Don't
yeah,
plan on getting bit. Don't want to get bit. Don't
yeah,
want to see nobody get bit. I've seen too many guys bit. Seen too many guys in the pit sacking
hmm,
get bit. Uh, it's not pretty. You know,
no,
there's two
it's not.
different poisons there. The timber rattler, I can't remember what is it.
It's a hemo and I think a neurotoxin, so it's not a pure venom.
Right.
So you're
The
getting
one
kind of
affects your muscles, and the other one affects your
like I think it'd be like
function.
your yeah, like what's going on in your head and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not like that,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
biological, with like the venom and stuff. But there's a hemo and a neurotoxin. It's not a pure venom, so you get two kind of side effects. The ones like rotting your where you got bit at, it'll start causing what's called necrosis, and then you'll get rapid heartbeat and stuff like that. And then there's people that pass out, they get dizzy, and it's just they're when I got bit, it was miserable, and my bite was a copperhead. So you don't ever want to you don't want to underestimate the snake. If even if you want to pick one up and get a picture, even if you're experienced, we've all been there. We're like, it's not worth it, because when a snake's hot, it's hot. And there's no, you know what I mean. When it's out in the sun all day, it's just like it's
Right.
extra. It's hot. Now you walked up on it, it's pissed off because you're starting to muck around with it. And if you're grabbing it with tongs, they hate that. As soon as you grab them and constrict them, it's just like game over. They don't want anything to do with it. It takes a pretty good while to where they're like, okay, you're not going to kill
Right.
me.
Right.
So
And I noticed, when I was doing this a lot way back when, if you found a snake that was starting to shed,
hmm,
those seem to be the most aggressive snakes
yep,
because, for one, they can't see.
yep,
Their eyes are all fogged over, you
hmm,
know, uh, and they're just miserable.
yep.
They want that skin off of them, they want to shed. And I'll tell you what, I've actually sat there and got to see a snake shed,
I did
you
too
know.
this year. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to watch them go from that kind of grayish covered over to when he comes out looking like a brand new shiny car,
Oh yeah, they're gorgeous.
unbelievable,
Yeah,
you know. And we have two different types of rattlesnake, or not types, two different colors in
color phases.
Pennsylvania
Yep,
too, But our snake also, they got the same timber rattler down in, what is it, Virginia, North
yep.
Carolina,
They
but
call
they
that a
call
cane
it
break.
a cane break.
It's a subspecies. So I think it's just separated by like a mountain chain.
Okay,
And
but
okay.
we have a black phase
Hmm.
and a yellow phase,
Yep.
and the color is predicted by the head color. Am I
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. Yep. So
Okay.
I believe if like the head's not like black or yellow, like it's not considered a black or a yellow, and like you know what I mean? Because you'll get them where they're kind of like real clean yellow up the top, and then they got a little bit of like darker coloration, maybe 12 inches below the neck, past up to the
Right.
head. It's considered a dark phase.
Okay.
And I think you get more blacks in higher elevation. Um, I think because they catch heat quicker up when they're up higher in elevation. Although I've been finding a lot of yellows for some reason in higher elevation. I don't know why. I've been kind of lucky with that. I like a good yellow.
Yeah.
I like any rattlesnake, but you see a nice yellow laying out on the road or on a rock, and you're like, man, that's cool.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I think my biggest snake that I caught
Mm-hmm.
was a yellow phase male, and he was just shy of 50 inches.
Oh wow, it's a good snake.
Yeah.
It's
And
definitely over 10 years old, I'd say.
and everybody kept saying to me, "Oh man, you're going to keep him. You're going to keep him." I said, "Absolutely not. I'm going to take my picture with him and let him go.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What do I want to keep him for?
It takes
Let
a
him
snake
let
a
him
long
breed.
time. It
Let
takes
him breed.
takes a snake a long time to get that big.
Yeah.
And they'll live, 30 plus years if everything's going right for them.
Yep.
It
And
might be a little bit less around here, but
they don't. Yeah, because what? Their predators are hawks, bobcats,
bobcats,
uh,
coyotes, foxes, cars, black
cars,
market.
humans.
Yeah. People just killing them because they're afraid of them.
They're. I'm trying to think. I was reading something while we were talking, and it said the average length. Let's see if I can find this again.
For a male?
No, it was just saying like just giving you a basic. It here. It just says the timber rattlesnake in Pennsylvania, a
Mm-hmm.
variety of colors, is a large, stout-bodied snake
Yep.
reaching lengths up to 5 foot.
Yep.
I mean, 5 foot. That's a pretty damn big rattlesnake.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like I said, that one I caught, and the guy I was with had been hunting snakes for over 40 years. And when I caught that one, he said that's the biggest one he ever seen.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, our average snakes that we caught were between 39 and
45.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and probably a lot more smaller than that,
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we would pick up the ones that we knew were big,
Yeah.
the ones
Yeah.
you can tell were big. We wouldn't, yeah, I'd grab if I got up on a rock and had three or four, I'd grab one with a set of tongs, get
Mm-hmm.
one with the hook, and get a picture
Yeah.
and put them down right away. Don't
Yep.
don't drag it out, you know.
Yep.
And I'm still that way. Now I just don't use the tongs. I don't I don't dislike the tongs because there's a company out there that makes a set of tongs that you can't squeeze together and it's not going to hurt, you know what I mean? You can
Yeah.
put your hand in it and you can't squeeze it together to hurt it.
Yeah.
And you go on to Amazon and start buying cheap tongs, now you're getting into things that are like a freaking pair of scissors and you can hurt the snake, you
Yeah.
know.
I wanted to bring that up, like you said. That's a good point because if you buy junk, trying to cheap out on it, when you're
I'm,
grabbing them, it can cut them up. And can I show my tongs real quick?
yeah.
The
Yeah,
ones
go
that
ahead.
I got them right here. So I just generally I just use I order. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on here, but I like using Midwest tongs. I'm
You
not
say
one.
whatever you want. Don't let Jared see you with that golf club with no head on it. He'll freak out.
He loves his golf, man. Emily says it all the time too. And then I think these are the Gentle Giants or the M1s. Right here.
That's the ones I'm talking about. You can't
Yeah.
when you squeeze them, they don't squeeze all the way down. So
Yeah. You still want to be careful because they're
right,
fragile. Like I said, my girlfriend at the time she liked going out and catching snakes on the road with me. Um, so I was supervising her how to do
right,
it. So, but I do, if you're gonna like go out and like, oh, I want to see a venomous snake or catch one, um, I would suggest trying to go with somebody that knows what they're doing.
yeah,
You don't want to just go out in the woods and play with a venomous snake because you could not only harm the snake, but you could harm yourself, and
yeah.
you don't want to take a hit. There's only two
Now
hospitals.
show the jaws on those so that everybody can see, and it's kind of got a rubber plastic coating on it,
Yep.
and squeeze them down because you can't squeeze them all the way together.
Yeah, you don't want to like, but yeah, it just kind of like this this groove here kind of helps just you know what
Right.
I mean. If you get a
Yep.
snake, it only goes so far. You
And
know.
a lot of these snakes are heavy.
Yeah.
They might not look heavy, but they are heavy.
Yep.
So picking them up with that, and if you pick them up, like we said earlier, too close to the head, too close to the tail, they start whipping around,
Yep.
snapping vertebrae. They could actually, I mean, those are rubber coated. They
Yeah.
can't cut themselves, but there's, like I said, there's some cheap ones. Now you're looking at $80 to $100 for a good set of tongs,
Yep.
and you're looking for, you know, you can buy a snake hook off of that Midwest,
Yep.
or you
Or you
can
can use golf clubs like Jared does.
you can go to work and cut a golf club head off and
Yep.
leave it laying there on a table, and Jared wants to know why you're cutting golf clubs apart.
You don't want to do that either. I mean, I'm like really nitpicking here, but like if you're like welding stuff, you're gonna get like shards of metal too, and you know,
Yeah.
if you're like what you guys do, I know you and Jared know what you're doing. If you wanted to make something, like you could easily make something, but just like the average person,
Right.
you don't, because like that's where you're kind of holding them at, and
Yep.
it'll cut them up and they'll get metal stuck in them and stuff. And
Yeah, I know. I used to a couple of the older guys that we used to hunt with. A guy used to make his own
mm-hmm.
competition pinners for
Yeah.
doing this, and then he would make hunting hooks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Everybody calls them a pinner. I don't know, but
That's
I
because
still I still call them a hook.
that's because they'll take the face of the hook or even like this
Yeah.
and they'll pin them. And you
Yeah.
don't want to do that either.
No.
It's very we've all I think everybody that like has and we're just telling you this because we've done it before and
Yeah.
we've had people correct us. You
Yeah.
know, you don't want to pin snakes. It just because you don't pick it up by the head doesn't mean that you're not catching it. Like
Right.
I've, you don't want to their spinal column and their jaw bones. If you grab them wrong, they might not be able to eat.
Yeah.
They could throw a fang and you could get stuck in the thumb. And
Yeah.
if you don't commit to it, like there's a good chance you're gonna get bit.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I I've tried before
mm-hmm.
to pick snakes up barehanded. Like I've watched guys do it and pick them up. The index finger on the top of the head, and then
Yeah.
the two fingers right here behind.
Yep.
It's still the same deal. When you go to pick that snake up, he can whip around and turn himself loose in there and get you
Oh
anywhere in
yeah.
here.
Yep.
You know, tubing snakes is probably your safest way.
Yep. For the snake
And
and yourself.
and even then, I mean, if you get a big snake and he only goes up in that tube so far, he starts getting a little antsy and doesn't want to be in there. He can push
Hmm.
himself out of that. You wouldn't believe how strong they are. They're like a giant muscle,
Yep.
you know. And we're not saying all this to make people scared to go out
No,
there.
no.
I don't want to see. I mean, hell, you give me a call, we'll find some place to go, and you want to go take pictures of snakes, we'll go take pictures of snakes. But
I think it's something everybody should have the experience to see if they want to.
yeah,
But back to where you said it's because I was like this when I was a kid. Where somebody would show you something, and then people see pictures of you holding stuff, and they're like, oh, I really want to see that. You're just trying to like, oh, like yeah, they're really cool, like but like again, you do want to try to keep like your spots to
yeah,
yourself. There's only like it takes a long time for me to just want to take somebody somewhere because I just don't really I don't trust people.
yep,
I don't
yep,
think people respect the land and like Jared, I could take Jared out and Jared would never say a peep to anybody. I mean, I've been I've been in the woods where he shot some of his biggest deer before.
right,
I won't even really talk about where people are like, oh yeah, where do you? I'm like, ask him if you want to know. I ain't spilling the beans there. I don't want to be on a milk carton somewhere.
yep,
You know.
yep, yeah. We all we all have the same mentality,
Yep.
and I think that's why we all get along.
Hmm.
I mean, me and Jared are always showing each other buck pictures every day at work.
Oh
you
yeah.
know, and now it's getting more and more because they're finally starting to get to the point where, okay, hey, look, what do you think, Jared? This one's gonna, 130s, maybe 140s, and we'll start,
Hmm.
comparing bucks back and forth, and you know, but yeah, this is a trust sport. This is not a
Yep.
sport where I'm going to go out with some meathead
Yeah.
and trust him out there with
Yep.
me, you know. And you also do some bow hunting.
Hmm.
You're a bow hunter.
I love bear hunting more than anything in the world.
You got yourself a pretty nice buck last year,
I did.
and you put some time in, figured
Hmm.
that buck out, you
Yep.
know, because I heard about it every day at work. You know, I knew what Jordan was doing. I knew where when you were going, and I heard the day you got it and everything like that. So
Oh yeah.
it was cool to finally like get to see it through somebody else. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Jared just kind of filling you in what's going on and
yeah,
stuff.
right, right.
Yeah.
You know, I do it every year, and I got a camera with me.
Hmm.
So mine's always
Yep.
filmed.
Yep.
But it's nice to hear from other people, or see somebody else do it. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh yeah, man. It's like that's like what's nice. Like so me, Russ, Jake, Jared, we're all it's like it's our higher lease group chat, and we'll just like send pictures. Like it doesn't matter if it's from PA or like even something that somebody else got. Like we like just during like all day, like during bow season, we're just like
right?
kind of chatting about deer hunting and oh, I got this one on camera. I think I'm gonna try to hit this stand and see what everybody thinks. Like, oh, what do you think about like this is my idea? You have any
Yep.
suggestions? Because I think too, you can always, as an outdoorsman, I try to pick up as much off of people as I can. I don't know the way 100%, so I think a lot of the times we need to humble ourselves and listen to somebody else
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
try to take advantage of some knowledge. And
I always say it all the time, man. I'm no professional. I've
no,
screwed up more than I've succeeded, but I've learned from those screw ups, and I've
yep,
learned from the older guys, and I've learned from some of the younger guys.
yep,
You know, you want to find a more how do I want to say this? A more eager bunch of people to help people learn?
Hmm. Yep.
Go to a trapping rendezvous.
Yeah. I know a girl that's
Trappers
real into that rendezvous.
trappers are I don't know how to explain it. The most giving, I guess you want to
Hmm.
call, or
Yep.
they'll share anything. I mean, I'm the same. I'm a trapper.
Yeah.
If I got a young kid that comes up to me and says, "Hey, Mister, I want to start trapping," I'm coming to the house. I'm getting him a half dozen of dog proofs. I'm
Yep.
giving them to him with a bag of marshmallows, and I'm going to go with him and I'm going to show him how to set them. We're going to
Yep.
fill them full of marshmallows, and I'm going to go with him the next morning, and
Yep.
we're going to have a bunch of raccoons.
Yep.
And there's nothing more gratifying to me than saying, "Okay, I started this kid trapping."
Yep. Oh, I
You know,
100%.
you know, and then maybe he'll stick with it the rest of his life, and he'll go into catching predators. Maybe he won't, but
Yeah.
he did it. You know,
Yeah, it's about the experience. If they don't like it, it's not for everybody. This we talked about this the other day too. Every time you harvest something,
yeah,
you're there's kind of like you're so excited, but at the same time, especially when you walk up there, I don't want to get too graphic, or when you're tracking it, and there's you make a good shot, there's even a bad shot, there's blood and stuff, and you're like, oh man, like
yeah,
in a sense, you almost, at least if you're, I don't like using the word sportsman because I I try to just be like I'm hunting. You know what I mean? I
right,
don't like to really think of it as a sport
right.
for the animal, to give the animal respect, but there's still some remorse there, to
Oh
where you're
yeah,
like, you took something's life, that you're going to use it and it's going to benefit you and your family, and
yes, yes, yeah. If you don't have that kind of passion
yeah.
or compassion, I mean, I I say when I'm trapping, it's like Christmas morning every morning when I go out to check traps.
Oh yeah.
But it's also kind of a sad day when I go to
Yep.
check traps,
Yep.
you know, because now I got something and I got to dispatch it,
Yep.
you know, and a lot of times, it's not the easiest thing to do.
Oh, I'm
So
sure.
yeah, we
Yeah.
do it. I use the pelts. I
Hmm.
use the meat, to make other lures and baits for other animals that I'm trapping.
Yep.
So, and I know bait makers and stuff like that. So everything I do eventually gets turned around and gets used somewhere.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm not catching it. I'm not bringing it home. I'm not throwing it in a garbage can.
Yeah.
That's just not the way this works. You
Yeah.
know,
No. No. 100%.
I don't trap to make a living because that is so far gone that it'll never happen again. I
Yeah.
mean, you get $2 for a big raccoon now.
Yeah. Boy, wouldn't
You
that be
get
nice if we could quit our jobs and just
yeah,
get fur?
yeah, yeah.
It'd be like, that'd be the
Yeah.
life, man.
When I was a little kid, 13 years old, I went out and bought my first deer hunting rifle
Yeah.
with the money that I made from trapping.
Yeah.
We were getting 65, $75 for a fox. You know,
Yep.
there was times an extra large coon would bring you $45.
Yeah.
A muskrat, 25, $30 for muskrat. You caught a mink.
Hmm.
Holy shit. You know, you were
You were
making
king of
bank
the
if you
hill.
were,
Yeah.
yeah, if you were a mink trapper, you was making money,
Hmm.
and then we started catching coyotes. Coyote prices were up there because they weren't really a big thing, you
Yeah.
know. And then all of a sudden, the bottom fell out of the fur market, and now you don't make money.
Yeah.
And I told you this the other day. I say every year I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit trapping. I'm done.
Hmm.
It's not worth. Well, I can't. I can't because if I get up that fall morning, the first day of trapping season, and I ain't going out to put traps, it's because I'm going to be dead and in the ground because
Yeah.
I've been
But
doing it for so long. I have to do it,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And Jared will tell you, I'll go at midnight and run a trap line and come to work, and then tell him at lunchtime, hey, I'm going. I got another half of a trap line to check. I'll be back later. You
Yep.
know, run 200 traps. Plus work a normal job, and then come home and
Yep.
to deal with the shit that I caught.
Yep.
So
Oh yeah, that it turns into, especially too, depending on what you got going on over at the shop there,
yeah,
you get 23-hour day almost. You
yeah,
know.
it's a love. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You got to love the outdoors to do this stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know?
But I think it comes down to too is one day you're going to be sitting on a couch with an oxygen tank on, just like, or in diapers like the rest of us,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
you only got so many seasons to do it. And
Yep.
I don't want to be
Yeah.
like, oh man, I wish I would have hunted that deer season or this or that. Like, if I have free time, and I try to make the best of it if I can. You
Yep.
know, we live in a
Yep.
pretty crappy economy now, as so stuff sometimes you're like, oh man, I don't know if I should do this or buy this, but I don't recommend going in debt over it. But
Right.
what I do is I work a side job in the summer, and then in the winter you know I'm pretty much useless. It's bow season. I work at my regular job. If somebody absolutely needs me, I'm there for people that I love. If somebody needs help with something, but for the most part, it's like, hey, if it can wait, can we do it this day? Or
Right. Yep.
so.
And that's the way, I think that's the way all of us are,
Hmm.
as far as the group of guys that I know and
Yeah.
we're passionate about the sport.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing a freaking podcast that I don't make no money at
Yeah.
if I didn't love doing it. I just want to share our stories and stuff with people. Maybe somebody will learn something. Maybe we turn somebody into a snake hunter after this airs.
Yeah.
You know?
Or somebody's not afraid of them, or that's.
Yeah. Or we got some little kid that ends up becoming I don't know, a snake biologist later on in
Yeah.
life because he listened to this podcast. Who knows?
Yeah. That's
You
what
know?
it's all about, man. If you touch one person, even through
Yeah.
the whole podcast, it's worth it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because I know
Nothing.
all it took for me was just John and Dave, whenever I was younger, giving me a rifle, giving me a fishing rod. Because my mother couldn't afford that. You know
Right.
what I mean? And that's all it took was just like, you know,
Yep.
one simple act of kindness and a little bit of free time.
Yep.
And I think as outdoorsmen, especially with kids, I think we should take a little bit more initiative to, if there's a kid that wants to hunt, it doesn't have to be every day or, this or that, but like just make an effort to show a kid that you care.
Yep. And we got the Sundays now, so that
Yeah.
should
How about
hopefully
that?
get more children involved.
Mm-hmm.
Because fall time is kind of a crazy time in PA because you got a lot of fall sports,
Yep.
football. Girls are playing fall softball. Boys are playing fall baseball. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so on Saturdays they're playing games.
Yeah.
You know, they don't get to hunt on Saturdays. If they do, they get to hunt the evening.
Yep.
Now they're getting Sundays. And the
It's
whole
awesome.
thing, we started the Saturday opener for gun season,
Yeah.
and guys were pissing and moaning about that. Oh, take it back to Monday. No, no, you're getting kids involved by doing
Yep.
this.
They said their
You know,
license sales have gone up and everything.
I don't care. I don't care what I want
Mm-hmm.
because my time in this sport has been. I've
Yep.
come up through. I didn't get I didn't get the mentor program. I got to mentor my kids
Yep.
in that they got to start when they were 6 and 7 years old. When
Yeah.
I started, you had to be 12. You got 3 days of doe season. You got 2 weeks of buck season, and you got, I think it was 3 weeks archery season.
Yep.
That was it.
Yeah, and I think
You know?
I think archery actually ended like in October, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you didn't even we're blessed. Like
yeah,
we get a good solid frame during the rut to hunt, like right in the peak time. I mean,
yeah. And now we get to add Sundays to it.
yeah,
I mean, it's about time the PA caught up.
yeah,
You know,
I agree.
we and everybody knows I'm not a big government man, but we had the right people in the legislation that pushed this and
Yep.
made it happen,
Yep.
and the right coalitions. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh
Like,
yeah.
sportsmen's organizations join these things because they're the ones fighting for us.
Yeah.
You know,
Big
they're
shout
not.
out to all those people too that made that happen because
Yeah,
that's like it's awesome. I
yeah,
never thought I would have seen the day. I know the
yeah.
first time I hunted out in Ohio, I felt like I was doing something illegal. That and I had 300 pounds of corn under me because you're like, I'm gonna try it. You have to. I don't care if I shoot a deer over a corn pile in Ohio. I'll tell anybody. I don't care.
Yep, yep.
I
I
do it legit around here, but
I always say it. If it's legal to do where you're hunting, then do it.
yep.
The first time I went to Ohio, I went with an outfitter.
Hmm.
You know, Sunday morning, I'm in a tree stand sitting there, and it gets daylight out, and 35 yards, there's a pile of corn. You know, there's there's a 140-inch whitetail walking 65 yards away.
Yeah.
You know, that corn does not bring those big bucks to you.
And
Those
I think
big
it
bucks
helps.
are smart enough to know, hey, that corn wasn't over there 2 days ago.
No,
I'm
it's a
not
lot
walking
hard.
over there.
It's a lot harder than what everybody makes it out to be too. Like you don't just kill a 150-inch deer over a corn pile. I've never shot a 150-inch deer, but like the guys like Jared, both 150s that that deer there, we called him Tank, the double drop time. He didn't get him over corn, and
Right.
the other 150, he you know didn't really
Yeah.
get over corn either. I mean, they're not. It helps storm the rut a little bit. I think if you get a hot doe in there,
Yes.
you're feeding them all summer, and there's that corn
Yep.
piles there, and then those bucks know that the doe's there. I notice a
Yep.
lot of the times the deer I see hunting over a corn pile are smaller, and they're just cruisers. It's just like they'll hit the corn pile, smell it real quick, and they're out. They don't hang around. They don't eat. You know.
You're good.
Okay, I didn't know what happened there.
Whenever, whenever, whenever it freezes up like that, somehow, some way, Riverside will be like you just continuously kept talking.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's crazy. Like it fixes the whole thing on its own.
Oh, wow.
It yeah, it's insane. Like
I was like, oh, I'm gonna
I
have to call Jared again.
first couple times it happened, like for some reason it won't pick up an internet signal for a couple seconds or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When we first started using this app, I was like, oh shit, we're gonna have to start all over again. And then you go back and watch it, and like I'm sitting here right now, I'm watching a timer, so I know exactly when that happened. I
Yeah.
can go back right to that spot once me and you are done
Mm-hmm.
and hit play, and it'll play right through
Oh,
like
wow.
nothing ever happened. Yeah, it's
That's
pretty
insane.
crazy.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, I mean, I think this was pretty good stuff that we talked about tonight.
Oh, hell yeah.
We didn't even touch on catching turtles, catching
No.
frogs. There's a variety of other amphibians and other snakes, black snakes,
Yep,
gardener
black
snakes.
snakes, garter snakes, water. They call it herping, or
Yeah,
herpetology, the study of reptiles and amphibians.
you want to get out there and play around with these things. I suggest starting with those.
Mm-hmm.
If you get bit
Maybe,
by a black snake, you're probably going to get a little bit of an infection because they got a dirty ass mouth.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Not even. I've never really got like an infection from. You just wash
right.
your hands when you're good, or when you're
Yeah.
done.
And most of your gardener snakes, their mouth ain't big enough to bite you anyhow, so
Yeah.
don't worry about it. But
I would
get out
suggest
there.
reading too. Like,
Yeah.
before you go out and do it, read what you're like. Be like, oh, I want to find a garter snake,
Yeah.
and go on the computer and go on PA Herps and go figure out what a garter snake's habitat is. Find that, and then go find a ringneck or this or that. And
Yep.
you'll start to realize things kind of coincide with each other, but don't just pick something up if you don't know what it is.
Yeah, because I've found some pretty nice black snakes laying on the same rocks with some rattlesnakes.
Oh yeah.
you know,
Yep.
or moving a piece of sheet metal and find, 4 or 5 garter snakes up underneath a piece of sheet metal, and
Yeah.
right not too far from him is a copperhead laying. So,
Yep.
these snakes do exist with each other. So I
Hmm.
would suggest being very careful,
The also
you know.
den too. I just want to point that out too. But sorry,
That's right.
copperheads and rattlesnakes and this one I gotta be careful with because it'll shut off. Um, hold on. Back on it. They'll they'll den together, but everybody's like, oh, black snakes will breed. Or, people back in the day would be like, oh, black snakes and copperheads and rattlesnakes will breed together, and they don't. They reside in
Yeah.
the same. They reside in the same winter area that's
Yeah.
generally on a southern facing hillside.
Yeah. That's the other thing, too, is get out there and get yourself some maps. You know, uh, we were talking about this rocks with a lot of moss on them. Usually not going to find a snake. I'm not going to say you're not going to find a snake there.
Yeah,
You're not going to. The south facing slopes, you know,
southwest, southern. Yep.
wide open, rocky, a lot of mountain laurel.
Old
That's,
logging areas.
yeah, log piles.
Hmm.
That's where you're going to find. And in the woods,
Yep.
you know, you'll find rattlesnakes in the woods, you know.
It's where a lot of the
Uh,
males hang out at. You'll just, or even like the younger snakes that don't really have their, like, they're not sexually mature, but they're kind of there.
yeah.
So you'll find them a lot of the times. If you find a snake like in the woods, you might find it like in what they call an ambush position. So you've deer hunted a lot, way more than I have. What do chipmunks do?
Yep.
They never touch the ground. They're running across little logs and stuff. And
Yep.
timber rattlesnakes and copperheads are notorious for.
Yeah.
They'll put
They'll,
their heads up on
they'll hang out there and
on
wait
like
for them.
a small log or a
And then,
branch, and whenever a chipmunk scurries across it, they'll grab it. See if that phases out again.
okay, should be coming back here pretty soon. But yeah, the copperheads and the timber rattlers will hang out there. Well, he lost power, so we're going to call this an episode right now. And I appreciate everybody listening. I'm going to run down through the sponsors list, and we will get Jordon back on here again. And I will talk to you soon. Check out these fine sponsors: Apparition Scent, Chico Outdoors Incorporated, Back 40 Seed Company, Gearhead Archery, Forget Genetics, Trapline Beard Oil, Weeby Knives, Wreck Broadheads, Coon Creek Trappers, Redline Bow Hunting, Rack and Stick, Scout Tech, XL Construction and Renovations LLC, Warhead Arrow Company, Black River Shot Company, Coyote Cords, Rocco Family Farms, Steve Rocco Media, Bustin' Fur Audio. Watch us on Carbon TV. Listen to us every Wednesday on the Outdoor Call Radio. Follow along on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Subscribe to the YouTube channel.